Kelly with the Washington Report on Middle East Affairs. I'm here today with my fellow intern, Oday Adeljawwad. Oday is a Palestinian refugee and a student at Brandeis, finishing his master's in conflict resolution. So without further ado, let's hear all about Oday's story and his fascinating journey to the United States.
So, as Kelly said in the introduction, I was born and raised in a refugees camp in the middle of the Gaza Strip called Al-Maghazi Refugees Camp. And I lived in a big family where I had 6 sisters that I'm super proud of, and 1 brother. Living in a refugee setting is so hard because I had a life where we had and we still have limited access to clean water, to electricity, to education, and in some circumstances we have limited access to medication. And this can be so hard where people's concerns are only basic rights, as basic as securing water, as basic as securing electricity, and in some cases as basic as securing houses, like a safe place where you could sleep and just have a family. So growing up in a refugees camp didn't actually allow me to know what it means to have a regular life, a peaceful life, where you would sleep with your family, not knowing if you're gonna wake up with the same number, because this is what happened in 2014. 2 of my cousins were killed, not because they were holding guns, not because they were doing anything, just because they were sleeping in their house, and then a bomb was dropped next to their house and they were killed. So this is the most tragic factor about living in a refugees camp, at least in the Gaza Strip, where it's not safe anywhere, not only in refugees camp, but also the situation in refugees camp can be more difficult because the structure of the houses in refugees camps is so fragile. So houses are not safe. So I never thought of myself as a victim or as a kid who lives in a middle classish family that can't afford his higher education expenses. That was always a motivation to me. So I heard about the Fulbright Scholarship from one of my undergrad professors, and I finished my undergrad. I applied for the scholarship, and I got it. So I decided to do conflict resolution because I know what it means to live and grow up in a conflict zone and in a conflict setting. So I wanted to do something for the best of my family and for the best of my people. So I chose Brandeis University in particular for 2 main reasons. The first one is that they offer an excellent conflict resolution program. And the second reason, which is also as important as the first one, is that it's almost a Jewish university that has a big Jewish and Israeli students population. So at the beginning, that fact scared me a little bit. I didn't want to be in an atmosphere where I don't feel very comfortable. But then I thought of it as a chance to meet with the other, to listen to the other, and to learn more about their narrative. And that's actually what happened. So growing up in the Gaza Strip, I have never got a chance to meet with Israelis. So all I knew about Israelis is that they're those soldiers who drop bombs on the Gaza Strip, and those that are a threat to our safety in Gaza. And I really thought of Brandeis as a good place, a good safe space where I could meet with Israelis and with Jewish people and just break this misconception. So what I want people to know about life in Gaza and life in Palestine in general is not our lives as Palestinians is not all about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, although it's affecting big part of our lives as Palestinians. And I'd like people to know that there is a lot of startup initiatives in Gaza. There's a lot of projects that they could help with to improve the economic situation in Gaza. And also, I want people to know that we have other problems that are not less serious than the ongoing conflict. There is an LGBTQ community in Palestine that want their voices to be heard, but because of the conflict and because of the political situation, they're not given enough space to talk about their problems and their issues. There's a lot of things that I miss about Gaza, like the beach, the warm weather, my family, my mom's food. I kind of miss everything about life in Gaza, especially the good hummus and falafel. Well, I'm planning on going back to Gaza. That's what I want to do. Because I have learned a lot throughout my experience here in America, and I'd like people to know about my experience in America.